we understand the story of Elkanah, I'm sorry, and how he had two wives.
Yes, yes.
And it always talked about the lesser wife, Elkanah, her husband, Hannah, and the other wife that he had children. Hannah and Peninnah. And they were in this man's household.
Yes.
And he blessed them, but he always gave a larger portion to Hannah. And then left it on record because he loved her.
Yes.
But she was barren.
Yes.
And that grieved her because she loved her husband too.
Yes.
And we understand that during them days, if you were barren, they thought you was unfruitful. Not only unfruitful, the word means unfruitful should mean unblessed.
Yes.
That's what they mean. You were barren in them days, they thought you was unblessed. But we know that even barren women our day that didn't have children are more blessed. But some of them are taking on children. That don't mean they don't have the mother spirit. Because the spirit of motherhood is a spirit. Folks are having children and don't want to have children. And don't want to be responsible. So we understand that it takes something to be a mother.
Yes, it does.
And Hannah wanted to please her husband and please God also, but she finally put both in the right perspective. She began to worship God and pray to him for her child. That she might what? Please her husband. So she pleased God by worshiping him and always gave a portion to the priesthood. And took care of when she was praying alone, she gone and asked God for what her heart really wanted.
Yeah, that's it.
She wanted a child. To satisfy her husband and also her own need. And in that prayer, Eli thought she had gotten, sometimes you get emotional when the Spirit of God, and he had thought she had been drinking something in him praying. And we should have been asking Eli, was he drinking? Because he should know when somebody's in the Spirit and not in the Spirit. Now sometimes we forget that Eli was a judge.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, we put a lot of things on him, and he was the priest.
Yes.
But he also was a spiritual leader and the judge of that time.
Yes.
And his eyes might have got dim, and he might didn't hear what the Lord was saying him in his age.
Yes.
And somehow he misunderstood her spirit crying out to God as a time of drunkenness.
Yes.
And she said, no, I'm not drunk, and going to explain she just wanted something from the Lord.
Yes.
He told her to go on her way. Her prayers had been answered. And so we understand that this is the answer in which God, and once she received her child, she did not stop blessing God. But she was grateful. And we don't want to have to talk about when the child came of age, she weaned him. And after she weaned and took care of him, what did she do? She brought the child in his youth.
All right now.
Back to Eli. And told him about, this is the why I call him Sam, because I asked him of the Lord. Gave him back to God. How many mothers want to give their child back to God?
Amen.
Yeah, it ain't too many of them going to be running around giving their children back to God. But she did. And understood what it means to be a blessing that God had given her. And she gave him back to God. And in the midst of giving him back to God, God took him in. Yes. God found favor with what? Samuel. Just because a mother decided to lend her, Lord, her son back to God.
Yes.
And even though she did that, God moved on it.
Yes.
And then when God was speaking, Samuel's ears, I think, and heart might have gotten dim.
Yes.
And God might have told him about his two sons, but he didn't listen.
Yes.
But when God began to speak to Samuel,
Yes.
we can understand that God had made a new relationship
Yes.
with the young boy. Eli even understood when he sent him there just to keep the flame going in the midst of the holiness. And every time he said, keep an eye on it. Then he kept thinking that Eli was calling him. He come running out. Hannah's child that she had gotten from the Lord. And asked the master and priest, Eli, did you call me?
All right now.
And he said, no, go back down there and lay down. And I ain't called you.
Yes.
Came again, he said, you called me even louder.
Yes.
He said that by the time Eli done figured out that it ain't him calling him, it's God calling him.
Yes.
And I sit back, and when he calls you again, say, Lord, what you want me to do? Yes, he called him, and then God began to tell him the things that he was going to make Samuel out of, how God was going to bless him, and even the doom that was happening to Eli. This is the things that God said. So we understand that it was all because of mother's prayer just to have a child that she got from the Lord. Reading in Proverbs, the 10th chapter and the first verse, it says, Proverbs of Samuel. Solomon, Proverbs of Solomon, the 10th chapter and the first verse. Proverbs of Solomon, a wise son maketh a glad father, but a foolish son is the heaviness of his mother.
All right now.
Yes. So we're speaking to the things that we understand that a father was supposed to be able to take care of a child, but first he's supposed to be weaned by the mother. So when a wise son maketh a father glad, but a foolish son make the heaviness of the mother. Because that means she didn't wean him right. She didn't train him right. That when he got in the presence of his father, he was unworthy. Understand? Proverbs 29 and 15. He's the Lord. 29 and 15 reads, woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and their works are in darkness. And they say, who seeth us and who knoweth us? That 29:15. The rod, that's the one I want. I'm thinking I'm ahead in 29. Oh, Lord. Hey, read the rod. There we go. That's one. Just speak the rod. Because you know, folk don't want to. Yeah, that's what I want.
The rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself bringeth his mother to shame.
That's the one I want. There we go. 29 and 15. Please. Oh, I'm sorry. I was Isaiah. I was in Proverbs. Praise the Lord. That's the one I want, the rod. So it said the rod of correction. Yes. Bring wisdom. Some folk got to understand wisdom comes through the correction. So that means, so we had already read 10 and 1. It said, now a wise ain't going to bring gladness, a wise son going to bring gladness to the father.
All right.
But it said a foolish son do what? Put heaviness on the mother. Because she's supposed to use that rod on him. Supposed to correct him. Keep him going, because this is what a mother's job. I know this was in ancient times, but it's still good today. Because the mother was supposed to wean her child until he come of age to work out in the field. So now we understand that the woman that cried to Elijah to have a child. When her child come of age, he was out in the field and was working like he would be. He went back to his mother and his father and talking about he had a headache and he's in pain. He said take the child to his mother.
All right now.
When he got back to his mother, the child was not alive.
All right.